the Academy announced the nominations for this year's Oscars. And there's a bit of a controversy because I believe it's the whitest, least diverse grouping of people nominated since, I believe, 1995.
I read 98, but I mean, a long time.
That's
a long
still
time.
Shocking.
Same point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best actor, all white males. Best actress, all white females.
All white males. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Thankfully, we've gotten to the point where it's where women were nominated for best actress. No, but
so
same for supporting actor, supporting actress, best director. And it's not like there was a lack of qualified candidates in this category. You have Selma nominated for Best Picture, which to me seems like it would be an automatic nomination for the director, for Best Director.
So I feel like Sam, because I have to say up front, I think the only movie that I saw that's in this batch is I saw the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then I saw Citizen 4. And I do watch a fair amount of stuff, but I don't go to the movies that much. But Selma has been like literally the only reason I haven't seen Selma is just because like I haven't had a moment since it's opened. Right? It's just
out of all the movies on the list, that's the one I want to see most.
And also, and then there's this a Most Violent Year I also really want to see. That's very much my kind of movie. That's like, early 80s, New York, home heating business. But look, I think, so I really, but that said, I mean, just from reading about Selma, and I have watched clips of this guy.
Listen,
playing,
on Rotten Tomatoes,
yeah.
Selma has, I believe, it was at 100% fresh rating for such a long time, with all these reviews coming in, which you don't usually see.
So I heard it in.
Usually movies on Rotten Tomatoes, they have a decent rating up to a certain point when all these reviews come in, and then if it's a good movie, it'll still have a pretty good fresh rating. But to see a near 100% rating with all these reviews, that's not something you see every day.
No, I mean that's like Godfather. I mean that's like territory where it's like even the people who don't. That's just a question of to what degree do you respect and like this film or not. There's no one. But okay, so I heard three interesting things about this. One, there's the innocent explanation, which is that Selma was released really late, so some people had already submitted their nominations, whatever. I don't really buy it, frankly, but that's one explanation. The other two things that are more interesting and really are super problematic is that one, this guy was pointing out, and I wish I could remember his name, was that the Academy goes when they nominate black actors, and this isn't invalidating any of these performances, obviously, good performances, but they tend to be people who are portraying people in the helping professions, like butlers, maids, chauffeurs, or the other thing is like bioepics of prominent black entertainers. And what's distinct about Selma is that this is all about African American leadership. And then the third thing is there's a controversy about how the movie portrays LBJ. Now, I don't know. I know some of that history. If they increased LBJ's opposition to this to enhance the dramatic quality. I mean, it's one of these things like literally no one has any idea what two people in a room said to each other.
Yeah,
but the general point that MLK was a radical leader and reformer who pushed this whole thing at great personal risk and may have at times, certainly with the Kennedy administration, and Johnson deserves a lot of credit for civil rights, but I'm sure he at times was like, dude, come on, we got a whole, can we not do this right now? That's the point of the movie. So if either it's
you have an hour and a half,
right,
maybe close to 2 hours for some movies to get this point across, to tell a story.
And if either of those two reasons are we don't feel comfortable nominating black actors that aren't in these very slotted categories, or the LBJ controversy were the reasons that this movie didn't clean up, that's a big problem.
So we were just talking about the Oscar nominations and how many feel Selma was snubbed, and how it's the least diverse lineup of Oscar nominees in a very long time. So why don't you give us your 2 cents, Matthew?
Oh my God, really?
Okay, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Look, the Oscars are just like a party game for the Hollywood elite.
I also agree with that. I could care less about these award shows. Really, I enjoy watching them to make fun of them online. That's pretty much my.
Can I just jump in really quick though?
But go
Will
ahead.
it be really quick?
Yeah, really quick. Certainly quicker than it took for you to get on the phone. I did that. But it's one thing to say, and you guys, take the conversation wherever you want to. But I feel like even if you and we all sit with whatever degree of our own levels of snideness that we have about culture, which we all have. And we're sitting in Brooklyn, and we can all agree that, look, I don't watch the Oscars. Matt watches it to make fun of it. I assume you don't watch it, Matthew. It's bullshit, whatever. But these things are still cultural markers for people, whether we like it or not.
Oh, yes,
and it's
of course, yes.
I did find it kind of mind-blowing that Selma wasn't nodded to. And if the reasons for it not being nodded to were the ones that I just outlined, I don't know if you heard them.
I didn't.
Well,
but
basically, one that there's a
racial.
The comfort with nominating black actors that either essentially play like members of the help or entertainers.
See, to me, though, that's the bigger deal. Like, I don't care about the award show as much.
Sure.
To me, though, it's let's get to the real problem, and that's how black people are portrayed and what opportunities are given to black actors and actresses in film. I mean, I don't see.
Can I just jump in? My overall thesis about that and about multiculturalism in general is that it's misguided. It's like it's the preschool version of what really needs to be considered in our culture. And it's not the multiculturalism just of ethnicity or just of certain cultures or skin types. It's the multiculturalism of other values other than the sort of basic values that all Hollywood films have to sort of conform to in order to be a commercially viable medium. So to me, it's not about counting the number of women or the number of black actors or so on. That is absolutely a symptom of this other kind of multiculturalism, but simply having different faces and different genders represented in the same kind of way, to me, it's almost like you have to compromise your individuality as an artist in the first place to make it into an Oscar-type
But
movie.
that's the argument, Matthew, is that Selma actually does by deviating in the sense that you're just literally portraying black political leadership, not just as like making an inspiring speech or forgiving white people. That is a different thing historically.
Well, look, I didn't see Selma, and I'm anxious to. I feel very disconnected from this group of Oscar nominees because I haven't seen almost any of them. I haven't seen almost any of them. And it's generally because these aren't necessarily the movies that move me and excite me in the first place. So maybe I would be more behind a different sort of celebration of film awards if it was covering the films that I generally gravitate towards. So that may just be my personal bias. But I also feel like, again, if we acknowledge that same old tired trope that this is the industry advertising itself, that is the industry promoting itself, that doesn't, of course, immediately negate the value of any of these films, but it does tend to sort of reinforce my own bias, which is like, these aren't the best movies being made. These aren't really the greatest achievements in the form. They're basically, it's the Clios. They give away awards for advertising. They give away awards in the industry for who sells the most couches. It's like this is an internal industry thing. And to me, the only fun about it is you get to see these charismatic, glitzy personalities who are very entertaining and very witty, and the show itself can be fun to watch, even more so the Golden Globes, which I do watch for some dry entertainment. But I can't personally get too behind criticizing the Oscars based on their sort of class and race-based sort of bigotry, because their biggest blind spot to me is that they're just mostly a commercial product. And
Donald Trump is tacky. Stop the presses.
Yeah,
Kind of what you're saying.
To me,
Yeah.
to me though, I mean, to me, the biggest outrage of this whole thing is that American Sniper nominated for Best Picture. Once again, Hollywood's got to give the nod to promoting this whole like yay war. These people, this guy who killed 300 Iraqis, many of them probably citizens or just innocents.
And his autobiography may or may not be a complete lie, but this Jesse Ventura thing is cast doubt
and
on
this
that.
This guy claimed to have set up on top of a rooftop during Hurricane Katrina and sniped looters. Like, what? This is the guy we're gonna promote? I mean, to me, I wonder how much of it was, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, you can count on Clint Eastwood to make a sort of like, which
though is actually
is feeling good about feeling bad. You can get a little distance from it.
Let's feel bad for this poor guy who's coming home and has to deal with the fact that I killed 300 people. Oh, I wonder how those 300 people feel.
Well, that's also another interesting part of the thing, though, in terms of there's the lies and there's the despicable things he wrote. And part of the despicable things he wrote that doesn't jibe with the movie was the movie is, I killed all these people. How do I deal with it? His writing is like, I killed all these people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Hoorah.
Yeah. You need me on that wall and all that other bullshit. Like, that's his, attitude. Now, I like Bradley Cooper. I actually do like Bradley Cooper as an actor. I
like him too, yeah.
He could probably make this a sympathetic. I've seen the trailer where he's like, "I'm coming home, Mom." And I've seen Coming Home that with Jon Voight. That was actually a very ambiguous movie about whether or not what he did was any good at all. And that was Vietnam, where it was much more appropriate or fashionable to say so. Like, well, wow, we were baby killers. We really were. What do we do? So I don't get the sense that Clint Eastwood is going to go there. He's going to. That's the thing that I always liked about the attitude towards these movies. When you say, well, when Steven Spielberg made Saving Private Ryan and all the World War II veterans came and said, yes, that's exactly how it was. I love this movie. It really captured my essence. And to me, if the people you're making the movie about are behind it 100%, you can almost bet it's some sort of whitewash.
Yes.
You can almost bet that they're only showing the things that they only want to show.
Yeah.
That it's going to flatter the people who are involved. And okay, that's great, and that's fine if you're trying to make a war propaganda movie to get people to go to war and so on. It has a purpose in some ways. But that to me is not art. That to me is just self-aggrandizing us as a nation or as a species. And these kinds of movies are almost by definition not going to challenge anything new in just a worldview, not to mention... I think the idea of multiculturalism, that it's valuable, is that it introduces other ways of thinking, other worldviews, other value systems, and it helps you to understand them. Not just because they're black or because they're gay or because they're this or that, but because they think differently. But to the extent that these Hollywood movies put black faces in the movies or put sort of different cultures in the movies or minorities, they tend to contain the same values still. So to me, just the multiculturalism part is not that impressive.
Well put, Matthew.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, so you're a racist.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the gist is, isn't it?
I just don't feel comfortable seeing people eat meat.